Hey guys, thank you for being here. I'm Ellen, and today we are going to be doing some yoga specifically for pregnant mamas. So whether you are early on or all the way through your third trimester, this is a safe, good video for you. There's some opportunity to build some strength. If you're feeling like you want to take it easy today, this is a good time to go grab a chair so you have a little bit more support, or grab some pillows or some blocks, anything to kind of prop you up, keep you comfy, just have them close by. We're going to be working a lot on creating space and openness in the body today, so just breathe into it, let that be your focus, and let's get started. Okay, let's begin in a comfortable seat. You're moving everything out of the way so you can really feel your sit bones grounding down onto the earth. Feeling those connection points with the floor to start, maybe closing your eyes. Your exhales, feeling yourself sitting a little heavier into there. And then beginning to grow your breath just into all the space that you have available to you. And then imagining, not that you are all just getting bigger, but those spaces that feel squished, that feel kind of contracted, that you're breathing into those spaces. So they're just huge and miles away, even if it feels kind of stuck still. Just notice the space that is there. And breathe into that. And then check in with baby. See if you can feel them moving around in there. See where they're up to. Sending a few breaths there. You breathe for them, so taking nice big breaths, bringing life energy into your entire body, and then that breathes into their entire body as it grows as well. Kind of enjoy that connection of both of you breathing on your inhales and your exhales. And now feel that spot at the very bottom of your spine, that pelvic floor. If you're further along, maybe baby is sitting down into there. And then on your inhales, feel that expand just a little bit. And then on your exhales, as your diaphragm naturally pulls up and in, feel your pelvic floor also kind of constricting, contracting, pulling up and in, just kind of tuning in with those muscles there. And then feeling that pulse on your breath of just inhaling, your pelvic floor expands. Maybe your sit bones spread just a micrometer away from each other. And then on your exhales, all those muscles move. They pull in towards midline. So just kind of practice that for a couple breaths. Like your entire pelvis just moves and expands a little bit on your inhales. And those muscles pull in, tightening up, working on those exhales or inhales, whatever. Good. And then big inhale, take those arms all the way up, bring them back behind you so they're like little props here. Take your legs out in front, nice and big. You can, if you're a little larger through here, you can spread them out a little bit. Otherwise, just bent so you can place your feet flat on the floor. And then just begin to wiggle side to side. So use your arms as sort of support. Bringing one knee down, rolling back to center. Bringing the other knee down. Just kind of wiggling out the hips. Feeling how your upper body and your belly and your spine kind of all have to move a little bit with that hip motion. It all sort of works together. And then see if you can still stay with that breath focus of down into your hips, sort of on your inhales, everything expands. Exhale, feel those muscles hug in a little bit more. Back and forth. All right, and then if it's comfy, have both knees facing towards the right. Take your right hand back behind you. Inhale that left arm up, up, up and over. And as you twist, so everything kind of comes this way, you can bring that hand down. You can either stay here, or if you have a little more room available to you, you can kind of bring yourself down. On your inhales, your spine feels nice and long in this gentle twist, like the crown of your head and your tailbone are reaching away from each other. Committing to full, smooth, slow breaths through every pose, even if it feels a little bit constricted. Make any adjustments that you need to make so that you can breathe a little bigger, a little fuller. And then use your hands to help you, pressing into that right hand, inhaling your left arm up and back towards center. And bring your hands back behind you to bring those legs back out in front. Wiggle them out a little bit. And then set them up for the other side. Again, now left hand comes down. Big swoop with the right arm on an inhale, lifting it up. Twisting your spine and over. So you're a little bit back behind you. I'm going to move so you can see a little better. So shoulders spread away. Crown of your head reaches up. Plenty of space here. Feeling that twist. And then if it feels good, you can come down onto your forearms. Breathing here, keeping your shoulder blades and shoulder, like the collarbones, like spreading away from each other a little so your heart still has lots of room. Breathing into your chest, into your rib cage, into your pelvic floor. And then waiting for an inhale, use your arms to help you. Pressing into the earth to lift up a little bit more, and then wait for an inhale to sail that left arm or right arm back. And shake it out, leaning back. Wiggle those legs out a little bit. And then coming all the way up to stand. Take a moment to find your balance here. Feet are at hip-width distance apart. Toes are pointed straight ahead. Really settle into your feet there. Feeling your belly pull in just a little bit to support your low back. Tell your low back how much you love it. It's doing a great job. Tell your feet how much you love them. They're also doing a great job holding all of you up. Roll those shoulders back so your heart is nice and open. Crown of your head lifts up. So there's just tons of space, tons of space, tons of space. Baby will make space here. And then inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, sit your hips back to chair pose. So if this is a little too much energetic work for you today, you can sit all the way into a chair. So you want to keep as much as you can. Your legs can be as spread as you like. You want to keep your belly muscles pulling in a little bit. And your hips sitting straight back so your weight is in your heels. So your tailbone is pointed straight down behind you. So it's like a plumb line for your spine. So it's not tilting one way, tilting the other way. Those ligaments are nice and loose. And so you're just going to allow gravity, Mother Earth energy to do the work. Just bringing that tailbone down and breathe, creating some energy in your legs now. Breathing into that space. You can have your arms down by your sides if it feels too constricted up here, or just straight out in front of you, palms up to receive. A few more breaths here. Starting to build that focus, building that ability to breathe into the muscles that are working. The average length of a contraction is about 60 seconds or so. So we're Here for it all. Take a break if you need. And then inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, circle those arms down. Sit your hips back like you're coming into chair, but fold all the way down. Planting your hands on the ground. Step both feet back and come to hands and knees. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Inhaling, dropping your belly down a little. Don't worry about extending too far. You want it just enough that it feels like your heart can lift forward and your head can lift up. Little arch in the pelvis, and then exhale. Feel your belly pull in as you lift your spine up towards the ceiling. Head and tailbone drop down towards the ground. Back and forth. So on your inhales, it's more like you're growing your spine long in opposite directions more than really dropping your belly down. You want to protect your low back there. And then on your exhales, you're feeling those belly muscles working. You're feeling your pelvic floor contracting up and inward. And then inhale, feel all of that relax. Your sit bones spread away from each other. Good. And exhale. On your next inhale, come to about center, about neutral. Take your right leg out towards your right hand and kind of angled out to the side a little bit. So ends up kind of looking like this. And you can move it around anywhere that feels good. All of these poses, take them kind of loose, you color outside the lines for this one or any of them. You want this to feel good in your body, and then you can kind of just circle it around. Maybe shifting forward, opening up the groin. Apparently this is a really good position for giving birth according to my prenatal yoga teacher. But anyway, so let that feel kind of good. Taking a couple really big breaths, full breaths into the pose. Really explore your fullest expression of the pose on your breath. Shoulders are pulling back a little bit so you're not constricting movement in your chest here. Still lifting up, still finding that space. Maybe sitting back, wiggling it around. And then you can wiggle that foot back towards center. You can take puppy pose. Child's pose is fine too if you want to take that, but if that's not going to work, you can keep your hips over your knees and just stretch your arms forward. So in this pose, your sit bones are really spreading away. You're not worrying too much about contracting those pelvic floor muscles on your exhales. You're just sort of allowing all the energy from your hips to drop down into your belly, into your spine. Let it feel good. You're reaching up and away with your tailbone, so you're not totally just collapsing down. Full, slow breaths. And then inhale, come on back up. Hands and knees. And then take it to the other side so that left leg sweeps around and forward. However feels good. If it feels better, kind of out to the side this way. If it feels better, closer towards your hand, that's fine. You choose. It's kind of wherever feels good. And then circle it around. So as you move, you're breathing. You're taking your entire breath cycle to sort of explore the motion. So inhaling, growing everything in one direction or another. Exhaling, softening into it a little bit. And if you find a spot that just feels really good, you just breathe. Slowly swing that leg back around. So option for child's pose, puppy pose, Or you can come all the way forward, curling those toes under, pressing those hips up and back, keeping those knees bent to protect the low back, coming into downward facing dog. So the knees can be as bent as they feel comfy here. It's never about getting those heels to touch the floor. They reach for the floor so the backs of your legs stay long, but it's more about reaching up with your tailbones. Your sit bones, again, they're spreading apart. Press into the outside edges of your pinky toes so your knees don't collapse inward. And then relax, take a little break. You get in child's pose or puppy pose. And then inhale, come on back up, hands and knees. Walk your hands back towards your feet. You can maybe pop up onto your knees a little bit and then come into a forward fold. So your knees can be as bent as you need to. If you have a little extra in the front, you can spread your knees apart so there's room for baby as you kind of fold forward. And then press into your heels. Roll your spine one vertebrae at a time all the way up. Nice and slow until your shoulders are all the way back up. Inhale, those arms lift all the way up. Exhale to your chair pose. Big breath here. Full breath out. And then inhale, press into your feet, squeeze your glutes, lift all the way straight up towards the ceiling, arms circle down. And then step your right foot back behind you. So you dial your back foot down, so you're coming into a warrior two. So again, this is a nice spot for a chair. So if you're on your chair or whether you're standing, it doesn't matter. You press the outside edges of your feet into the floor to create this nice space in your leg, or nice strength, in your legs. There's plenty of space in your upper body. Arms are reaching out. So whether you have the chair beneath you or not, you can kind of feel again into your pelvic floor, inhaling into it. Feeling everything move, feeling your feet press away from you on your inhales. Exhale, everything pulls in towards midline just a little bit. Your belly pulls in, your pelvic floor muscles hug down, or up actually. A couple more breaths. If it starts to feel like work, if you're starting to build that heat, that energy into your body, breathe into it. This is your time to practice and be an expert when the day comes. So enjoy the spaces at the very top of your inhale and the very bottom of your exhale. So the breath is a dynamic process. You're always breathing in, you're always breathing out, but there's that slight little bit of pause. Good, let's go ahead and take a break. Straighten that front leg. Turn your left toes in and then turn your right toes out, taking warrior two to the other side. And it's okay if this is hard, by the way. This is a long time to be holding warrior two, so take as many little breaks as you need to take. Just giving you the opportunity here. Again, pressing into the outside edges of your pinky toes like your legs are tree roots reaching down into the earth. Your crown of your head still reaches up, your arms reach out. Good, and then straighten that right leg, turn those toes forward. You can walk in, coming back all the way up. Shake that out a little bit, nice job. Another big inhale. Exhale, back to chair pose. So if you're sitting in your chair, like literally, your action, it's the same whether you're floating in your imaginary chair or not. The action is you want to be lifting up so your rib cage is away from your hips. So there's this big space here, your heart stays open, your legs are nice and strong, your feet are rooted into the earth, so your whole body is integrated. And then inhale, lift up, squeeze the glutes just a little bit. Exhale, circle it down. And then come back down onto a seat. Actually, let's take goddess pose or malasana. So take your feet out about as kind of 45 degrees out, about as wide as your shoulders. And if you have happy knees, you can kind of sink right into it. This is a nice spot. You can place a block or a pillow or something underneath if you need a little extra, or you can do this up kind of against a wall. That'll work too. And then maybe you can press those elbows into your knees, hands together gently, not really pressing. You're mostly pressing this way. And you're lifting up. A couple breaths here. You are a goddess. You're creating life right now. Breathe into how awesome you are. All right, and when you've had enough of that, you can gently sit back. So let's take our feet together. Our knees come out wide. So setting all of that up, maybe moving around so you can again feel those sit bones on the floor. So you can either stay really upright, maybe having your hands on your feet or on your legs, almost like you're sort of pulling your chest forward a little bit, keeping everything up. Or if it feels good, you can start hinging and then maybe walking your hands forward just a little, just so you feel kind of a gentle stretch, whatever feels the best for you, wherever is a good place for you just to breathe. And then again, those nice full, slow ocean breaths. Like with each breath, you're teaching your body to hold a little bit more air, like there's a little bit more capacity for air, for life energy in your body with every inhale. If your mind starts to run away, bring your attention back to those points on the ground where your body makes contact with the earth, or bring your attention into where baby lives, in your pelvis and your belly there. If you're folded forward, gently walk yourself back up. Easy does it. So we're going to take a double pigeon or fire log pose. If you're really tight through the hips, nice to have your one leg extended, so take your right leg extended out. Otherwise, your right leg is roughly parallel to the front of your mat, so it's kind of in line there. And then you take your left leg up on top. So again, if you're not super flexy in the hips, this is totally fine. You can have your arms back as much as you need to support yourself, keeping your heart open, collarbones spread away. I'm here right now. So you can either keep lifting straight up. If this is challenging, you can stay with your little arm supports. If you've been doing yoga for a while, or you just happen to have nice open hips and you have the space, you can tilt your hips forward a little bit and lean into it, intensifying that stretch through your hips here. And with all of these poses, love your joints. If your joints are not liking it, if they're not feeling that great, then back out of it, do a little less, or pick free choice pose at any time. You're in charge, you're the mama. And then right back to that breath. So this is a good time to practice just, again, breathing into those sensations of discomfort. Sometimes there's discomfort, and I'm sure you maybe already are aware of this in your day-to-day life, depending on how far along you are. But if you can breathe into the spots that hurt from either being too stretched or working too hard, it's all the same thing. It doesn't really matter. your breath is still going to help you. It's still going to carry you through that. During your day-to-day life, for those spots that are hurting, try and breathe a little love into it. You're doing a great job. You're doing a big thing. And then slowly ease yourself back out of it. And careful on the joints. Use your arms as much as you need to help you. Coming out the same way you came in. Shake it out. Yay, hips. And then when you're ready, set it up for the other side. So might feel different one side to the other. Honor that. Maybe this might be a better option on this side. For me, I think I am tighter on this side. Yeah. And so arms can be back behind. Any variation of the pose that feels good. Another variation too, if this is super easy, is cow face pose. I guess I could have shown this on the other side. It's not super easy for me. Is to bring your feet like away and your knees towards midline, but it might get a little constricted through here towards later days. So anyway. So on your exhales, all of your body energy is settling down a little deeper into those hips, down towards the earth. But you still have that sense of lift, that sense of openness. Your upper back is still working to keep those shoulders open. Your crown of your head is still reaching in opposite directions from your tailbone, whether that's forward, up, back, it doesn't matter. And breathe into where your body feels this the most. So notice where your breath naturally is on your breath cycle, and then feel yourself ride all the way out on your next exhale, all the way until you get to that little still point where your breath seems to stop just for a moment, and then big inhale to help yourself come on out of it. So walking your hands back, lovingly, carefully bringing yourself on out of it, shaking it out. So then you're going to come to lie on your back. So you can either have pillows kind of underneath you to prop yourself up. If lying on your back is not happening anymore, you can actually do these same poses lying on your side. So I'll show both. So for the first one, extend your left leg long, right leg comes up. So it would kind of look something sort of more like one leg long, one leg coming forward. And you can have it kind of down or prop it up, or you want to keep your muscles kind of active. You're starting to kind of use these leg muscles. So, if that's more comfortable, do that. Make it work for you. Otherwise, you're inhaling that left leg out. So you're reaching in both directions. All that blood that's pooling in your foot is, yay, coming down. Let it feel good. Maybe wiggle those toes out just a little bit. And then see if you can grab onto that leg, pulling it back in. At the same time, you're reaching out through your right leg a little bit. If that knee bends and comes out to the side, so you got a little bit more room. If you don't have the bringing it over, that's fine too. It can look anything from here to here to here, whatever works. Just find a spot where you feel like you've got some opening in the hamstring and some opening kind of through your groin here a little bit. And then come back to those pelvic floor inhales and exhales. And then bend that leg. Come on back out. Take it to the other side. Stretching it up. So first just kind of working on that activation, that pressing out through both heels so the blood just drains down. If you're sideways, it'll still kind of, you can kind of imagine that blood just coming back into your heart. It's not down beneath your heart, so it'll still make it easier on your circulatory system there. A couple little circles. And then find your version of a little hamstring stretch on this side, however works. And use your breath to kind of feel your way into it, yeah? So your inhale, create a little bit of space. Exhale, soften into it. Inhale into that. Exhale, maybe soften it another little way. And then gently bring yourself back on out of that pose. So for your final Shavasana, you can either kind of lay down just on your yoga mat, normal sort of corpse pose, lying on your back. If this isn't super comfy, you can prop yourself up in any way, go lie on your couch or on your bed if that's better. Anywhere where you can get really, really comfy and really tune in. This is kind of the most important part of the practice. Now that you've built your breath, now you can just sort of feel it moving around in your body. So just take as long as you need to get comfortable, or as comfortable as you can. And then keep those breaths really big for about 10 breaths. Take 10 big, full, slow, steady breaths wherever you are. Feeling how big you can breathe. So even though all the rest of your muscles are totally relaxed, there's still effort there. So you're still breathing really big. And then after you've done about 8 or 10, you can then let all the effort go. You can just come back to your normal breathing, just feel your body as you naturally are, and just let everything go.